Live. So welcome along, everyone that's out there. I'm Andycharger here on YouTube. So welcome along. So there's a few of you already out there. So if you're watching today, then please let me know. Tiku Liuvu, how you doing, buddy? Hope you're well. Just going to see if I can get the chat open and see what's going down. Hopefully you can see me all right, guys. I think I'm coming through loud and clear. Just going to adjust my lighting a little bit because I think it's a bit too far away on that side. Hopefully you can see me okay. So welcome along. Hi, Glenn. How you doing, buddy? Hopefully I'm coming through loud and clear. Loads to talk about tonight. Hi, Jack. How you doing, buddy? Hello, TRV010. How you doing? People jumping on already. Great to see. It's been a busy week, but you will be not shocked if I tell you the bumper's still on. Still haven't done the alternator, but that's because other things have got in the way this last weekend. So hello, Mark. How you doing, buddy? Hi, Richard. How you all doing out there in the world of TT? Hi, Phil. How you doing? Lots of green usernames on there. So a lot of my channel members are on there. So great to see. And of course, if you want to become a channel member, you know what to do. Click the link in the video below and support me at the channel. Adrian Vilchis, how you doing? I have an Audi TT Mark II Roadster 2008 silver. That's a quite an early road, so that will be on the Mark II, I guess, because I think then he started making them in what 2007 was it? Maybe they did the 2006 very late one on the Mark II. But of course, most of our content here on the channel is all about the Audi TT Mark I. So lots to cover this evening. There's been a lot of chat I noticed going on in the TT world this week on basically over on the prices again. That's been seems to be a lot of chat going on with Mark on as well. Oh, thanks, Mark. First time on YouTube. That's been a long time, but we've been friends for a long time. So, and you've supplied many parts that are around this garage, no doubt. So, which we'll probably talk about a bit more tonight as well. So, yeah, definitely give it a like. Definitely give it a subscribe, buddy. And if you want to join the channel and support me, click the link below and change your name to Green and support the channel. But yeah, a lot going on this week. I've noticed something that's really popped up yesterday, and it must be going around the media at the moment, is the change to the vehicle tax that people are talking about. It's an absolute myth if you're thinking about the 3.2 suddenly going to double in tax prices, your vehicle excise duty. If you're worried about that, please forget about it, provided your car was made before the or was registered, should I say, before the 23rd of March 2006. If you've got that crossover car from the 23rd of March to about the 12th of April, it's only a couple of weeks in it. If your car was registered during that time, unfortunately, you are paying the higher tax band on the car. Now, this covers both the 225 and the 3.2 V6. But if you look through the vehicle excise duty that we have to pay on this car, judging by the output of the emissions, I think they're about 250 something, they should be in the highest class or highest bracket of the car. But what you'll notice, if you go and look on the government website, and that's where I'd recommend people go and check it out if you don't believe me, ignore the Daily Express, ignore all the motoring magazines because they don't give you the facts. And the fact is, there's a massive asterisk on the DVLA website, and it said all vehicles made and registered before the 23rd of March 2006. The big asterisk says if your vehicle's over 225 grams of carbon emissions output, you're actually paying the lower rate. So you are only going to be paying the sort of like $390, $420, whatever it is. You're not going to be paying the £720 tax. So if you're worried about that, do not worry. You are not going to notice a double in your vehicle excise duty. So there's a bit of a public information video for you today. So hopefully that's put a few people's minds at rest. Let me know in the chat what you're thinking tonight, what you're up to. Were you worried about that? Had you noticed that being banded around a lot of the Facebook groups and a lot of the sort of like the social media and even the printed media the last few days? It always seems to be this time of year that rumour starts getting bounced around. It happened last year, and I made a video on it, very short here on YouTube, talking about the change in vehicle excise duty. It's not affecting us, not to the level that it would affect us of doubling our tax prices. So do not worry about that. Bangs and Cash channel have a 15-minute video on Mark I with only 15,000 on it, posted 3 days ago. Sold for £9,000. Yeah, worth a watch. Yeah, they've done a couple of Mark 1s, actually, the Bangers and Cash guys, I think. And yeah, they do some really interesting takes on that. Low mileage at 15,000 miles. And yeah, and it probably would ask that sort of money. It's in that sort of really sweet spot, isn't it? But you've also got to think a car that's on 15,000 miles, a 20-year-old car, it's done less than 1,000 miles a year. Now, we know through driving our cars, there's probably a sweet spot where you need to do a certain amount of miles a year to keep all the fluids moving, to keep the car turning over, to keep everything moving nicely so things aren't seizing up. So there is probably a point where the mileage is too low, believe it or not, that the car's had enough use to have made it viable. I don't know. That might be a myth. I don't know, but maybe that is a case. I think that would probably be the case. Sometimes they're too low. I know a couple of really good low mileage examples that are around. There's that amazing Kingfisher Blue 3.2 that is like, looks like, and it smells like the day it rolled off the factory, off of the forecourt somewhere. Amazing car. Hello, Marcus. How you doing, buddy? You're not too far from me. Skiing and playing with my brother Julian, but love your chats, mate. You doing a great job. Thanks, buddy. Definitely catch up soon. You're not far away from me, and we definitely need to catch up for a coffee. Maybe pop round one Sunday and we'll have a drink of coffee in the garden and stuff and talk about cars and look at your great Quattro Sport as well. So you've got a lovely Ava Silver one, haven't you, if I remember rightly? There's a lot of people in this chat tonight that have got Quattro Sport, so they are very rare cars, but I know there's quite a few of you out there who've got one. And Richard George, you've definitely got one, a new one to you. Hello, Stephen Craddock. How are you doing, buddy? Hope you're well. Hope life's treating you okay at the moment. But yeah, there's been a lot going on actually recently, and I've just I filmed a video last night, quite late last night. So as for those of you who know that obviously I'm on a massive diet at the moment, so I'm trying to lose a lot of weight. So I'm 2.5 stone down. I've got another half stone to go. But it's changed my life, revolutionised how I feel, sorted my health out. It's absolutely revolutionised me. But I went out for a Chinese last night, I'll be honest, and I went out with another friend of the channel, Kyle Stocks. You probably know Kyle. He said some great Mark 1s over the years. We went out, we had loads of great TT chat. It's so good to catch up. And we were talking about a lot of different topics. And then when I got back, I thought, do you know what? I'm going to film a video off the back of what we were chatting about tonight. And we were talking about like maintenance on cars and the jobs people should do. And I thought, do you know what? The cars are changing hands quite frequently. Hello, Steve. How you doing, buddy? Hope you're well. A lot of Steves on the chat, but people I know very well. I see a few of your cars are. I know you're keeping. You've got a Quattro Sport as well, haven't you, Steve? So a lot of Quattro Sports tonight. Maybe we can try and get all of them on at once. But yes, going back to my video that I filmed last night, did it very late when I got home. And I figured there's a lot of new users, new owners in the Mark 1 community at the moment. You notice cars are still changing hands quite a bit. A lot of new people, not new faces around, that might not be aware of a lot of the critical maintenance that we need to do. And I think looking at a lot of the questions that are being asked in the chat right now, it makes you realise that the knowledge is not out there for everyone yet. So I know that's my mission, is to get that knowledge out to people and share what I know and what you guys pass on to me. So I will open it up tonight, guys, that even though I filmed the video last night, there's still time for me to get it into the edit. I'll edit it this weekend, probably, to get it out for the weekend. So I'm going to ask you, what critical jobs do you think any new Mark 1 owners should be doing? I'm going to rattle off my list, and if there's anything else you want to add, or if you think I'm wrong on this, then let me know. Now, I figured the number one job you should have if you've got a Mark 1 that you've just picked up and you don't know anything about the maintenance, timing belt. That is the key one for me, I think, straight away, because that is such a massive risk for your car that gives you no warning when it's about to go. So there's no dash warnings normally. There's no performance problems on the car. It will just let go one day. And if it does, bang, that's the end of your engine. It's no good. So I think that is the number one thing I want to do. Now, it has got a bit of a cost to it. You know, it's a bit of an outlay. And I think that is a problem where a lot of the Mark 1 owners don't get that job done. They don't invest in having that timing belt change because it's a lot of money, and they figure, well, you know, the car's all right, and they're basically gambling. They're playing Russian roulette with their car. Because if the belt goes, cause the problems we know from the engine I've got sitting just behind the camera here today. If that engine does let go, or the belt lets go, that's the end of your engine. So you're going to end up with bent rods, bent valves rather, sort of piston heads probably smacking into pots of valves. Make a right old mess of your engine. You're going to need a new engine probably, or at least a rebuild. Mr. GMT, you're such a kind gentleman. You've sent me $4. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, $4 Australian. I hope life is treating you well in Australia tonight. I'm sure it is, but I hope you're having a great time, and thank you very much for your kind donation. Any donations are most greatly appreciated, guys. If you want to support the channel, you know what to do. Click on the little dollar sign below. But it's only every 5 years or a massive bill for rebuild. Yes, Stephen, I was just about to touch on that. So we know that the timing belt is every 5 years or 75,000 miles. The trouble is, if you haven't got a good history log of what's happened to the car, that cam belt might have been on the car for a year. It might have been on for 15 years, and we don't know. So definitely something not to take a risk and do. So that's my number one job. And actually, then the second job, Andy Mortimer, how you doing, buddy? We're just talking about maintenance on Mark 1s, which I know you're sending your lovely Merlin roast off to have done to get it ready for the International TT show coming up. So you've got no problem with it. So looking forward to seeing that car, buddy. So that's the number one job, is the timing belt. Number two, and these are big jobs we're talking now. You know, people might think, well, I don't want to do that. Timing belt you can do yourself, but I'd say you need to know what you're doing. It's a bit of a risk if you get it wrong. And I've done it once on the roadster with the help of Bryn. So BWS TT came down and he taught me through it, and he's filmed a video of it. So it will be on his channel at some point, like a beginner's guide to doing a cam belt change. So watch out for that if you do want to do it yourself. The second thing I would do is also quite an involved job, but I'd also recommend it. And it probably hangs off the back of something I was talking to a few of you about. And that is changing the sump pickup pipe. Now, the pickup pipe, and I looked around for it last week. We were in the garage and I couldn't find it. I've still not found it. It's around somewhere, the old one. And it's like a little sieve on a little pipe that sits in your oil sump, sucking the oil up that goes around your engine. Now, of course, this oil sieve can get blocked up with debris and bits of pipe and whatever else falls into your oil reservoir, ends up in that sump, blocking up your sieve on that oil pickup pipe. And of course, what that means is your pickup pipe is no longer picking up the oil and sending it around the engine. So it causes oil starvation to the engine, and that is fatal to the car. And what you normally find when that's happening is that you will find the car starts giving you the red oil can warning light telling you to stop, because there's bad oil pressure and it's struggling to get oil around the engine. So you get out of the car and you get your dipstick and you look and you say, well, it's not low on oil because it's got lots of oil in the sump. And yes, it has. It has got oil in the sump because the sump has got oil in the oil in it because it can't pump it around the engine. So that's a real massive risk. Again, that's the only warning you're going to get from that, is you're going to start getting that red oil can pick up flashing light on the dash, and the 3 audible beeps as well. So that's something you need to think about doing. Now, you can do it yourself, and Billy Cloud does a great kit for it on the Cloud9 Customs website. It's about £45, and it comes with a little O-ring for the oil return pipe. It also comes with a new pickup pipe, and it comes with a tube of gasket that you use to put around the sump. So what you've got to do is you've got to get the car up on axle stands, which you do at home. You've got to take the under tray off the car. You've got to take the sump off, and it's held with lots of bolts all around the sump. You have to be careful taking those out, because 3 of the bolts on the one side of the sump end up falling into your bell housing of your gearbox if you're not careful. So I recommend, if you're doing that job, when you're using a socket to take them out, put something sticky, like blue tack or a bit of gum or something, in your socket when you're removing the screws, so they come out. Now, those screws, if I remember right, they've got like a cross thread, like a Phillips, but they've also got a hex head around the outside. Definitely use the hex head, because that's the best way of not rounding them off. Always use that to get them out. But putting them back in, the same thing. Gunking your extension bar so you can put it back in the hole, and then you don't lose these screws in the bell housing. I'd also recommend, even though the bolts are the same all the way around that sump, get a piece of cardboard and trace around your sump pattern, okay? Or download one. I've got one, I think, on my video. And you can put holes in that piece of cardboard where all the bolts go in the sump. Poke them through the relevant hole you're removing from, because even though they are the same, I always think putting a bolt back in the hole it came from is much better than forcing the same bolt that's been in another location back in. You end up cross-threading and getting all sorts of trouble. So that's a massive tip for you. I'd recommend doing that. So that's my second job. I'm going to come back to maintenance on the Audi TT Mark 1 that you must do, because I'm just going to read some comments. Because say Mr. GMT has asked the question, will this fit Xenon White Vision Gen 2 D2S headlight globe? Is that a bulb, is it, I guess, for the headlight? I don't know about the headlight bulb, if that will fit. I'm sure it will. D2S lights, that's what we have on the Xenons anyway. That's the bulb. I would imagine it would fit, as long as it's not an LED replacement, which we know from getting the Auxito bulbs didn't work. But I'm sure it'll be fine. Depends what the price is. Is it worth a gamble on it to get those? I don't know. But yeah, let me know, guys, if you see the question in the chat there about those bulbs, will they fit the Mark 1? Hopefully they will. But I'm sure someone will come up with an answer in the chat. So we've talked about the timing belt. We've talked about the pickup pipe. So what would be our third recommendation for a new owner on the Audi TT? Well, I would recommend, if it's not been done, is also the Haldex unit. Now, the Haldex sits at the back of the car. And Mark Stanley, if you're still on this chat here right now tonight, you kindly sent me a diff and a Haldex for me to do a video on, which I'm still doing the video on, and I am still to fit that to the Roadster, because we know that the Roadster Haldex has failed. But the Haldex obviously sits at the back of the car, and that's what controls your four-wheel drive performance if you've got a Quattro. Of course, if you've got a front-wheel drive car, it doesn't really matter, and it's not going to make any difference to your driving experience because you won't have a Haldex. But the Haldex is one of those things that gets neglected, and it's a little small reservoir at the back that controls underneath in the sort of right in the middle of the axle at the back by the diff. It's a real pain to get to. You need a special spanner to remove the filter plug off this, and I'm going to get the spanner because I've got that to hand, which I always think it's a really cool spanner. Audi and their special tool. So there you go. So there's a Haldex spanner, and it has to be like that because the access to get to the filter housing is really quite tough. So you need that, and you've got this like multi-spline edge into it to get the filter off. So the filter is good for 40,000 miles on the Haldex, and the Haldex oil as well should be changed every 20,000 miles. So really, if you were doing like 20,000 miles a year, it's an annual service thing. Really, it's something you should do. A tube of the oil is about 50 quid. So I don't know what those in Australian dollars, maybe about 100 Australian dollars would it be. But the oil, you get it in like a sealant tube is the best way to describe it. So the fill plug and the drain plug are the same thing on the Haldex. I don't know who came up with that logic. Now, this is a Generation 1 Haldex on our cars, guys. So if you must know that as well. That if you are a Haldex driver, Quattro driver, we have got the Generation 1. So I guess they didn't come up with all the smart ideas straight away. So if you want to put Haldex oil into your Mark 1, you've got to pump it with a sealant gun is the way I did it, to pump the oil back through the drain hole. And then when you've got it in there, you've got to be really quick with the plug, get it in, do it up quite tight, and that sorts it. I just finished cooking. Oh, hi, Stuart. How you doing, buddy? Hope you're good. We're just talking all about jobs on the Audi TT Mark 1 and things that will help you out and help new owners out. But the Haldex, if you don't change the oil and you don't change the filter, it will cause failures in the Haldex. Eventually, it gunks up, causes problems, and then you end up with a two-wheel drive car. So that is something I'd highly recommend. So for 50 quid, it's worth doing. Of course, if you take it to a garage and get that job done yourself at the garage, you're going to pay a bit extra. You pay a bit of labour. So it might be 150 quid to get your Haldex changed, but I highly recommend it. You should factor that into your annual maintenance costs. So we've talked about the timing belt is first. The sump pickup pipe is second on the 1.8T cars because they are a problem. Third would be your Haldex. Fourth, I would give it a general service. So I'm talking about all my fluids there. So I'm going to be changing my fluids on a car that I've not known any details about. Change the oil. Get the gearbox oil changed. That is highly recommended as well, because something that gets forgotten and neglected a lot on these cars. And lastly, what is a notchy gearbox? And you'll find if you are struggling with the gearbox, often changing the oil will make a big difference to how that drives. So sometimes it starts running low on oil. It does get a bit sort of like stiff to get into gear and stuff. Definitely recommend doing that. Obviously, the power steering fluid as well on the car, make sure that's topped up, because that can also cause problems. You could get a power steering leak as well. So, always something to keep an eye on. Obviously, don't forget your coolant. Flush your coolant out regularly as well, because normally you take the lid off the coolant tank and it's like a orangey mess inside. Then that's definitely a time to change your coolant and keep your car operating at tip-top condition. So all the fluids and your brake fluid as well. So of course you can change the brake fluid. You can take the nipples off the calipers and you can run it out that way. Get a brake bleeder and pump the new fluid through. Of course, I tried to do the brake bleeder on this car, and we had all sorts of problems because the cap that attaches it to the top. Yeah, use the right power steering fluid. Absolutely right. I haven't got the specification with me right now, guys. So if you know what the specification for the power, I want to call it like something like ASG12 or something like that. I don't know what it is, but it's something ASC or something like that, AGC. But if you know what it is, guys, put it in the chat so we can help other people out as well. And if you're enjoying what you're watching tonight, then please do give this a thumbs up and feel free to share my live with other people. If there's other Audi TT fans around the world that are missing out tonight, get them on here as well. Let's see if we can make this a massive show tonight. So we've only got about 22 people at the moment, but that's still great. It's still great to have there's people watching every week. And this is week 5 of the 2026 shows. We did 3 shows at the end of 2025 just to see if there was an appetite for me to keep doing live shows. And we're now into, I say, week 5 of this. So this is 8 weeks on the bounce we've been doing this. So hopefully you guys are enjoying it. I've had some great feedback actually off people talking about this. Somebody's mentioned that they use it as a podcast the next day at work just to listen to help the hours go by. So great to know I'm helping people and obviously providing information and just sitting here talking for a couple of hours on my own with nobody around. So hopefully you're enjoying it. But it's actually my birthday tomorrow as well, guys. So I am about to start my 53rd orbit around the sun tomorrow. So I'm 52 tomorrow. Believe it or not. I know I don't look a day over 51, but yeah, I'm 52 tomorrow. So which is quite a big achievement for me. But still loving my cars, still loving life, and still enjoying helping you guys out. So that's the important thing. Not got anything special planned yet. Obviously just work. So that's the usual day. But thanks, Dave. Appreciate that, buddy. But yeah, so it'd be yeah, so I wonder what I've got planned for the weekend. I wonder I'm going to try and get this done at the weekend. So that's my plan. So what I might try and do in the happy birthday, thanks, buddy. Yeah, and hi Andy, you lot beat us, Forrest. Happy birthday! Yeah, we did. We had a good win on Saturday as well. Actually, we snuck past Sheffield Wednesday by one goal. Thanks, Phil. Thanks for the birthday cakes. And Stuart, thank you as well, buddy. Hello, Stephen Harper. How you doing, buddy? One of my last remaining Mark 1 YouTubers out there. We are a dying breed, aren't we? We're not. There's not that much content coming out. I know we've got Travis in the US and Bryn does a few videos still, but I think there's only a few of us left that are doing Mark 1 content nowadays. But yeah, thank you very much for the birthday wishes for tomorrow, guys. Really appreciate that. And yeah, so I think I will try and get the bumper off this finally this week. Before I came on air tonight for about 5 minutes, I just unbolted the passenger wheel. The driver's wheel's been off for a little while, but the passenger wheel I've only just taken off. And I'm going to take the wheel arch. I might do it tonight. I might take the wheel arches out and get the bumper ready to come off. And I'm going to across the floor. I'm going to put like a quilt down so I can take the bumper off and protect the paintwork because I don't want to get it damaged on the floor while I work on it. It's going to be a bit of a pig to do. I've done a quick check on the battery tonight, actually, and it's only at 3% health. So I do need to get the battery charger on the car. I used one of my little King Bollen battery tester, which is really helpful to do. It does tell me the health of the battery, and also it identifies with the engine running and the battery flat that and then the battery not charging. It will show you on the voltage output of the car. So, of course, if you've got your battery tester on the car and it's pumping out below 12 volts, your battery's not charging. So if it's not charging, probably be the alternator. Now you'd expect on a car with a good alternator, when the engine is running, it's going to be sticking out about 14 and a half volts off the alternator. So if you're not getting that current off the alternator, even at the battery level, it would suggest it's failed. and that's when I sort of learned that when the guy from the RAC came out to us at the Ace Cafe. That's what he told me how you test it. So I thought it always good to pass it on. So yeah, so I know that I've got to do it. I've got to get the alternator off. I'm going to order that brushing kit from what's it called? Autodoc. Get the parts over. So it's going to be a few days before I get that. Yeah, keep it on trickle charge is good. Obviously, that won't help the alternator. It will keep the battery topped up, of course, Stuart, but it won't help me with the alternator. So I'm going to have to take the bumper off to fix the alternator. Got a spare one knocking around, but again, that's off my breaker car. So I am a bit reluctant to put that on. I suppose what I could have done is I could have ordered in the brush kit for the other alternator and rebuilt that while I was waiting, so I could just swapped over. If I was smart thinking, I should have done that, shouldn't I? But maybe I will. Maybe I'll get that ordered up, so at least we can look at that. Oh, happy birthday! Thank you very much, Miss GMT. That's 2 donations you sent tonight. That's very kind of you. That's a nice, very kind birthday present. Thank you very much, sir. Most appreciated. I'll invest that in some. Maybe invest it in an alternator kit for the car, so then I can say the people of the channel funded the repair of this car. There we go. Put it straight back in the channel. Thank you very much, sir. Most appreciate that $10 you just sent. Gareth White's put, hi Andy, I've seen a lot of talk about the Mark 1 tax doubling this year. Oh my goodness. You weren't on from the start, Gareth. We've gone through that already. So as I'll go through it again though, because obviously people come and go through the night and appreciate that. But rest assured, Gareth, there is no doubling of the car tax. Okay. And the reason I know this fact is it's a bit of a myth. Every year this seems to come up, right? It seems to be spun up by the media, and it seems to be pilfered through on either Facebook groups. A lot of like people that think they're in the know but aren't in the know. So what I would say, Gareth, and if you want to double check my logic, get yourself over to DVLA's website right now and go and look at the car tax bands. No, Gareth, don't apologise, mate. It's not a problem. It's not a problem. But get yourself over there, and I will sort of talk you through what you need to do. You need to go to the car tax band chart, okay, and look down the car tax band chart, right? And you know that our 3.2 V6s and our 225s are pumping out the emissions are up in the 255 area, I think, like that. So they would actually appear to be in the higher tax bracket, so you'd be paying more. However, when you look down that list, there's a big asterisk at the bottom of it. And that asterisk says if your car is over 225 grams of carbon emissions, let's put whatever the right GSM or CSM, whatever it would be. If your car is over that 225, and your car was not manufactured, was registered before the 23rd of March 2006, then you will pay the lower amount of up to 225. So you won't be paying £700. You're only going to be paying the sort of like 390, 410, whatever it is for these cars right now. It's not changing. It will obviously go up with inflation, but it's not doubling in price. So please be rest assured. And anyone that doesn't believe me, go off and look at the DVLA website and look at the facts yourself. Look for that big asterisk that says anything over before the 23rd of March 2006 that's over 225 will pay the lower band 225. So you're all right. Panic over. Don't panic. So if you see anyone on the Facebook groups going, oh, it's going to double. No, it's not. And tell them, if they don't believe me, tell them to drop me a message and I'll tell them straight. So there you go. So all the panic is over. So that's all good. I did say it yesterday. Now I do have a little video in my my video collection, a short, talking about this a year ago. But because it seems to be bouncing around again, it's made me realise I need to stick another video out. So maybe I'll film that after tonight's feed. Tell people, do not panic about the vehicle tax. Go and look at the DVLA's website. Because the DVLA are the people that set these tax bands. So they're the people that know what you're going to be paying. Ignore the Daily Express. Ignore the motoring magazines because they're not reading all the article. And if you haven't seen that asterisk statement, then you would think it is the higher tax band. I get that. But people don't read all the information, or they just look at what people are saying in the media and believe it. Don't go and look at the DVLA website. So I hope that covers it off. So we've talked about Mark 1 jobs, haven't we, tonight? So we've talked about new owners' jobs. What are let's say the 5 key owners' jobs. That's not good. We've only been live half an hour. I'm losing my voice. So we said a new owner should change, if they've got no record of the maintenance, they should change the timing belt. They should change the oil pickup pipe. Okay, that's two of the first key jobs that people should be doing. They need to change the Haldex oil because the Haldex is a point of failure if you don't keep up the maintenance. They should change all the fluids in the car. So that's four of the key things that you should be doing. And I think if you've done all of those, then you're on to the things that you should be changing that maybe, brakes are something you should check and make sure are okay. Now, the fluid we've talked about, changing the brake fluid and looking after the brake fluid in the previous one as part of the service. But you want to check the condition of your brakes. You want to check the condition of your pads and your discs, because on the MOT, they will flag those up as being low if they're corroded, if the lines are corroded. But what they won't do is, they won't tell you how low they are and how it's gone. So definitely something worth checking out. If you haven't done so already, take your wheels off and look at your brake condition. You could be in a lot of trouble. You could be running out of brakes very fast, and it's quite important that your car stops. So that would probably be my fifth tip of things to check. And then you're on to the things that you probably want to that could be damaged. How often should the manual gearbox oil change? You know what, Stuart? I haven't got the frequency in front of me. So maybe someone else, Richard, if you're still on, I bet you know the frequency of that. But I would say nowadays, with the cars being the age they are, even the daily drivers that I change it yearly. That would be my recommendation. Rather than looking for 40,000 miles, 30,000 miles, I'd do it every year. Steve said, and re-grease the sliders and the calipers to carriers. Yeah, I think a lot of people are finding right now on these cars, some say it's for life. No, Stuart, it's definitely not for life. I've had the same conversation for our Ford Fiestas that we've got here. So the Ford Fiesta gearbox on the 1.25 Zetec is also supposed to be sealed for life. It lasts for life. And I can guarantee that when I managed to get the drain plug, it wasn't even a drain plug, it's a fill plug off the gearbox, there was no oil in it. So yeah, 100,000 miles for gearbox oil. Really, Stephen? Is that what it is? Is that the frequency? I would be doing mine every year now, because it's just because of the age of the car and keeping them going. That's just part of my my maintenance routine. 60,000 to 100,000. Okay, there you go. Stephen's saying that. I would take his word on that because he knows his stuff. But me personally, I change it every year just to keep on top of it. But that's just me. Got a garage full of oils and hydraulic fluids and manual gear oil and all sorts of things for the cars. So I might as well use it up and get good usage of that. So that would be mine. So Stephen, have you got any other tips of what you should be changing on an Audi TT Mark 1 if you're a brand new owner and you need to make sure you're going to keep that car running? What are the first jobs you should do to keep that car running? Interested to see what your thoughts are on that. Next job for the 3.2 then. Yeah, I would recommend if you've got a DSG, people complain about the DSG starting to cause problems. If your DSG is causing problems, one of the first things I'd do to make sure it's okay and to rule out is to change the gearbox oil. It's quite expensive on the 3.2. I haven't done it myself, but I took it to the garage to get it done. It was a couple £100 to get done. I seem to have my thermostat replaced on every TT I've owned. Do you know what? I'm not going to say what I'm going to say, but I've not changed the thermostat on the TT yet. That's tempted fate, isn't it? So I'm definitely going to be doing that. Although interesting that I did notice the Roadster is starting to not sit at 90. It's starting to fluctuate a little bit. So I did think maybe the thermostat needs doing. So maybe that'll be a bit of content coming up for me in the near future that I've not done yet. So maybe I should start looking at doing that. Stephen, I think what we should try and do is I should work out how I can do there you go. DSG intervals 40,000 miles. Yeah, cool. Okay, so there you go. So every 2 years, maybe a gearbox oil, I'd say, to keep it on the straight and narrow. Maybe we'll try and get you on next week, Stephen, to work out how we can do this split screen or get the TT YouTubers on. So yeah, but so my video I put out last week has generated quite a lot of comments. I think there was 137 comments on the video last week. Had a lot of likes as well. It's about 3,500 views, which is really good. It's generated a lot of chat. I think a lot of people appreciated the amount of effort I put into the research. Interesting this week, there's still people I've noticed on Facebook asking, are there any decent 3.2s for sale at the moment? Now, there's a lot of cars. There was about 30 cars for sale on Auto Trader when I looked on the 3.2 bracket just a couple of weeks ago. But interesting, people are saying, are there any decent ones for sale? So that would suggest maybe the ones that are for sale aren't of a very good quality. So it'd be interesting to know if you know of a good 3.2 V6 that's for sale right now, and maybe we could share that with people, because I do often get approached by people asking about, the 3.2. I don't know anyone that's got one for sale. A lot of people will approach me if I feel like they wanted me to buy their car as well. So people say, do you know, that might be interested in buying my car, and they give me all the details, and I'm like, I've got too many TTs as it is, so I would always look to I should have filmed all the jobs, done the TT and sent it to you. Yeah, that would have been great, Andy, if I'd had all that content to stick in the channel. I've from a content perspective, there's a lot to go for at the moment. So this week's video is going to be all about the important Audi TT Mark 1 jobs you must do as a new owner. There's a soft top on eBay with 43,000 miles going cheap. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's interesting that it's the thing about the 3.2s is I don't know what the reason would be, but the Roadsters definitely don't hold their money compared to the coupes. Everyone wants a coupe. They definitely don't hold their money. The 225 Roadsters, they seem to hold their money better, but even they don't struggle. And I think back to when I was a young lad, and the coupes that you had at the convertibles that were available when I was a young lad, they were only really like the Golf Clippers, the Mark 1 Golfs, and they were crazy money, even compared to the coupe, the hatchback one. They were crazy money. They were like double the money. And then from there, you had like an Escort convertible, and that was like crazy money. All the convertibles were well out of the range of like the Paris. But look at the convertibles now, and I think maybe because they've become more popular cars over the years, that they're actually cheaper than a coupe would be. So it's very interesting, yeah. MX5, MX5s are quite reasonable. I don't know how reasonable they are, but they are a bit 10 a penny. My nephew is big into his MX5. He's had a few, and my mother and father-in-law have got an MX5 as well. So they've both got Unos Roadsters, the Japanese import version. And we know the Japanese import TTs, they seem to be quite popular, don't they? We've got a lot of those around in the UK now, and they do help swell the numbers of the rare car. So I don't know if maybe this is a popular colour in Japan, but there's quite a few Japanese import papayas around in the UK. Not many, as we know, not many UK original cars, because there was only 41 made for the UK market in this colour, in the 3.2, of which I've got one of. So they are quite a rare car. Got a video on that on the channel as well if you want to check that out. Yeah, I had a Japanese import Unos. Yeah, that seems to be. They've got a bit like the TT. They've got the shorter number plate on the back, haven't they? And the bumper recess is smaller, a bit like on the TT import cars. Yeah, they do. They stick to the road quite well, don't they? I think my nephew though, he liked to drift his, because they're rear wheel drive, and he drifted it into a lamppost. But that's another story. But yeah, is this stream Proby? I don't know what that means, buddy. 810. I don't know what Proby means. Proby. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll miss it. Please, you'll have to help me on that. But I'm sure. In favour of bees. Yeah, I'm sure. I've got no issue with bees. They can live quite happily in my garden and make me honey. But yeah, I don't know what that is. Or Bracknell bees, maybe. Not a fan of the Bracknell bees, because we like bees and wasps equally. Yeah, we do. We like them all. Well, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of wasps, actually, because when they're in the garden, I think we had a few jaspers flying around at Springfest last year, chasing the wife's cakes. I think, because we don't want that, because the cakes and biscuits on sale at the Springfest are very, very nice. So we definitely want to keep the jaspers away from that. Just say yes. Okay, yes, we're pro B. There you go. Yeah. Everyone's welcome. Everyone's welcome. Bees and people. But completely thrown my train of thought. There you go. Hey Andy, do you know what the S-Line TT Mark 1 has different in comparison to the normal versions? I have heard that they are lowered. Right, yeah. I'm going to talk about that, Mike, right now. I'll tell you a story about that. Wasps make jam, bees make honey. Oh, okay, there you go. Wasps get a backhander off me as well. Right, so the S-Line version of the TT, the Audi TT Mark 1, um, Audi, in their wisdom, decided to release a special limited edition version of the TT back in 2002, I think it was. And it had lower suspension. I think it was 20 millimeters or 40 millimeter lower suspension. It had, can't see because I haven't got, I can show you somewhere. It's got the silver insert headlights. It had the chrome door, chrome gear knob. It also came in two colors. I think it was Ava silver and Mazzano red, I think, were the two colors that it came in. And it had a couple of S-Line badges on it. So there's some nice little features. So Audi started selling those at a premium price. And they did this for about 6 or 7 months. And at the time, they were selling, people were buying them because they had a few nice features on them. And then Audi decided in their wisdom to make those features available across the range. So everyone could then have silver insert headlights, lowered suspension at no extra cost. Well, of course, the people that had paid the premium got a bit annoyed by this. So they went to Audi and said, you know what? You've made those features available across the range for standard price now, and I've paid money for those. I would like my money back, please. And believe it or not, Audi coughed up. So people that complained about it, owned the S-Line and bought it new, Audi gave them a refund because they made the parts available. And the reason I know this story is at one of the shows at Ockham Bikes, the third Ockham Bikes that we held, someone was there that owned an S-Line and owned it from new. It was a great condition car. It was an Ava Silver one, an S-Line one. And he told me that story, and he was one of the people that got the refund. So good to hear that. Need to drop off. Need to keep up good work. Thank you, Stuart. Appreciate that, buddy. I hope you're doing well. And you check your current temperature using 49C. It could be the gauge. You're looking for 90C and stay when it's up. I will do that, Phil. I did think about checking that out on the gauge. Actually, I've just not had the roast has only been back on the road since Thursday. As you know, we had a problem with the battery. I couldn't charge the battery on the roadster. I tried everything to get the battery to charge. I just couldn't do it. And it was because the battery had got so low that even the repair mode on my battery charger wouldn't get it going. Anyway, so to get around that problem, I did a bit of research about it, and it did say if you get to the stage that even your battery charger can't regenerate the health in your battery, what you can do is if your battery charger's got a feed, a 12-volt feed, which my battery charger has got. So I fed 12 volts to it just to give it power through it. Ran it for about 2 hours, just running power through the battery. Then put it into repair mode, and it started repairing itself. So I was really chuffed with that. So we got the battery back. It's got back to 78% battery health, I think. I think there might have been a battery repair video, actually. Have I done a battery repair video? My mind's gone blank. But I've actually done it, saved the battery. It's now back on the car. The car runs fine. The wife is at the weekend, and she drove it on Friday down to her sister's 30 miles away, left it a weekend, drove it back on Sunday. It worked fine. Fantastic. So it's all good in the hood, and we've got the roadster back on the road. But now it's back on the road, Phil, I will give that a try. Get up to temperature and check it out. But obviously I need to get this back on the road. This is my next project. I've got to get the alternator sorted on this. Got to get it done. Keep talking about it, but I am going to do it. So yeah, I've got a few other videos coming up in the pipeline as well. So if you've got any videos you want me to film, guys, as well, anything you want me to work on and cover off, then please do let me know. I did put a video live this weekend, but not here on the channel. It's actually over on my sister channel. So as well as Andycharger, I've got Andycharger _electric, and that's to cover the Tesla and the electric car jobs that come up as well. So believe it or not, I know that's a bit of a controversial statement on here on a petrol head channel, but the electric vehicles are proving popular. They are, there's a lot of people that have got them, not an awful lot of content about them at the moment. So I'm trying to share my experiences and my knowledge and what I know about it and what I've learned over the Tesla over the last 2 years. So I've done a video on Tesla basics for people to, because I don't know if yourself, you might not own one, but you might have got an Uber somewhere and Uber's turned up and you can't even open the door because you can't work it out. So all the basics on using a Tesla, driving a Tesla, starting a Tesla, unlocking a Tesla, all on that channel. So if you're not already subscribed to my Andycharger_electric, I really would appreciate you joining and subscribing to that channel as well, because it really helps me out as I try and grow the electric vehicle channel as well. Any meets coming up this month? Phil's asked. Yeah, I've not done a video meets on the a meets video on upcoming events, but there is some events coming up this month. There's a meet going on, a midweek meet, I think, going on next week that Gina's organised down. I think it's Winchester direction. I've got the details in front of me, and I know that that's going on. There was a meet yesterday at Ignition, I think. There was a meet on Saturday at the Motorist as well, I believe. Again, people didn't let me know about these things. I can't add them to the video if people don't tell me about them. But there is a meet happening on the 22nd of February in Rochester, and that is Joe Cordwell's Kent and Southern TT Group's meet. They've got that coming up. There are a couple of the meets going on. I haven't got the details, so what I'll do, I'll look into where the meets are coming up and share them on the live next week so people are aware of them. What I haven't done is I haven't made a meets video, because I was very vocal and said, if you want me to share your meets, your upcoming meets, drop me a message, let me know where your meet is, and I'll add it to my video. No one's done that, and I spend a lot of time chasing people around trying to find where meets are, looking at details, then publishing meet videos with the details, and then find out they've cancelled the meet or they've moved the venue, and I'm giving out false information then. So I definitely don't want to do that. And yeah, I only speak the facts on my videos, and that goes for my 3.2 video and all the research did on that as well, because I didn't know some couple of people on there on the comments had mentioned that I wasn't talking facts. Well, actually, I think you'll find if you do your homework, everything I said in that video was factual. So there you go. Just pointing that out there to people that pointed it out. But yeah, which TT are you taking to the International? I'm taking this one, Andy. This is the car that's come to the International TT show. Reason for that is the Roadster will... Look, I'll talk about the Roadster in a minute, but the reason I'm taking this is it's quite a rare car to see at that meet, even in France and Belgium and Germany. You don't really see them around. I've only ever seen one over Papaya at the two previous International TT shows we've held. So it's quite unusual. I think it was the only one there last year, so it was quite unusual. Gina's on the 11th foot caffeine machine. There you go. Thanks, Rich. And I knew you'd know the detail of that. Brilliant. So that's an evening meet. So there's one there. Phil, you're asking about meets in Petersfield on the 11th. So I think that's next week, next Wednesday evening. So if you want to get yourself along to that, then definitely do so. So the reason I thought about which car to take is my two fellow International TT show organisers. So that is Simon Matthews and also Frank Schmulders. They both drive silver Roadsters. So if I took my silver Roadster, it would mean all three organisers have got silver Roadster there. So that'd be quite interesting. But I did take, last year I took this car and my father-in-law drove my silver Roadster over for me. Now, of course, that gets expensive taking two cars. So this year I'm just taking the coupe. And there is another reason for that is that I am taking the Roadster to France this year in June. The wife and I are taking a trip around France to celebrate our wedding anniversary, and we're going to spend 10 days traveling around France, going down to Monaco, do a lap of the track, and then drive back. So hopefully it lasts. So I need to make sure the Roadster is in tip-top condition for all that. Be good for the big engine to have a nice long drive. Yeah, exactly. The 3.2 is definitely a cruiser. It's just a great car to open up. Get it nice and warmed up. Stick it in sport mode for a bit and have a real blast. That's really good fun. I haven't actually put this one in sport mode yet. The blue one, I used to put that in sport mode all the time because it was a bit higher mileage and I didn't really worry too much about it. I shouldn't say that, should I really? But this one, because it is low mileage, it is a Papaya. I'm a little bit more careful with this one, and it does live in the garage a lot more than the other car does. And really, the Roadster should be in the garage out of the wet, shouldn't it? But no, the coupe is in the garage at the moment. So, guys, what have you got coming up jobs-wise on your TTs at the moment? Why don't you let me know in the chat and let me know if the people in this in this forum right now. They can help you out with questions. I'm just going to grab a drink because I'm really thirsty. And my throat is absolutely killing me from all the talking I'm doing. So cheers. Other cola beverages are available other than Coke Zero, but Coke Zero is my favourite. I should have had a hot drink really tonight. It's not too cold in here tonight, believe it or not. So I've got my wonderful gilet on that Carl Foreman bought me and sent me, or the foot warmers he sent me as well. But I've got my hat on, as you can see, but no waistcoat tonight. So I'm rocking the brand as well, and obviously the brand on the back. Now, obviously, if you're ever interested in an Andycharger hoodie or an Andycharger t-shirt, then please do get in touch with me at the channel. They are available. We can sort that out. I know a few people on here have already got them and love them as well. They come in a full range of colours. So if you're interested in a hoodie or a t-shirt, then let me know. Again, it helps support the channel as well. And it's always good to make sure I see a few of my bits of clothing around. I always ask people when they've got them on if they can send me a picture so I can share that on the channel as well. So if you're interested in a hoodie or a t-shirt, then do let me know. And hopefully the lighting's working all right tonight as well, because I've got my soft boxes on tonight, and that should be giving me a bit of a good vision. So shows that are coming up that I probably want to talk about later in the year that we've got. Oh, Andy's just asked, what's that? Pickup pipe, an oil pressure sensor, new shocks, springs, new exhaust, and silicone hoses, hopefully done next week. Wow, that is a lot of jobs you're having done there. That I would hope that Roadster of yours will be in tip-top condition after all of that. And I know that we had a bit of a WhatsApp conversation last night, Andy and I, and we were talking about catch cans. Excuse me. And people, when they talk about catch cans, it's always worth saying, talking about what you want the catch can to do. So really, you're going to be fitting a catch can to the car if your PCV system is starting to fail, or it's causing all your pipes are getting soft and you're cracking, causing boost leak, or causing all sorts of problems. So if you want to replace your PCV system with a catch can, what that allows you to do is, rather than all your PCV system, which stands for positive crankcase ventilation, rather than it feeding the oil vapor back around and either into the combustion cycle or back into your turbo intake pipe to be taken through the turbo, what the catch can does, it takes that oil vapor through your hockey puck and it puts it into your catch can rather than pumping it back into the combustion cycle. So it improves your combustion cycle, saves sticking all those horrible contaminants back into your combustion cycle, clogging things up, catches the oil nicely, and it saves those pipes that you need to replace. You just get rid of them all, and it just has a catch can. And normally the catch can has got like an inlet and an outlet, and it's got like two little hoses on the top of it, and it's a body. And all you do, you hang it on your strut brace with the tube coming in, drops the oil into the thing, air back out into your crankcase. And all you do is you can unscrew the bottom of the catch can and pour the oil and crap away at a later date. But again, that's not going to improve the performance of your car. You're not going to get more brake horsepower out of it. But what it will do, it will allow you to cope with a failing PCV system and save putting the pollutants back into the engine combustion cycle. So it will help it, but it won't give you performance, brake horsepower boost as such. So that's a job that you can do if your PCV system's failing. Now, talking of pipes, silicon pipes, I did see a conversation going on about people asking about a set of Forge hoses. Apparently, Forge don't make the hoses for the TT, the 1.8T anymore. I don't know if that's factually correct, so I'm only just quoting what I read. So if you guys know for a fact if Forge have discontinued that range of hoses, that would be interesting to know, because it does sort of limit us what we can do with the car in the future. So it might be a case of that, is it worth picking up a set of Forge hoses from somewhere before they're all completely gone? I don't know. Definitely maybe worth looking at that, because parts are getting a lot more scarce and rare now, aren't they? So we definitely need to think about how we're going to cope with that moving forward, and our car's going to cope with that moving forward. I don't know. Hopefully they will. Hopefully we can keep these cars going for many, many years yet. So new shocks and springs. I don't know if from Audi if the shocks are still available either. I think a lot of the aftermarket stuff is where you need to go nowadays to keep these cars going. I have thought about maybe changing the shocks out on this car. As you know, I've changed the brakes on it because it's got Brembos on it now. So with regards to changing it, and the reason I've done that is the brakes that were on it were completely shot. I'm going to do a rebuild of those calipers, and at some point I might put it back to standard. But I do like the Brembos. It does have a different braking feel. They're not as big, the discs on the car anymore, because obviously the Brembos are smaller, but rather than being a twin pot stopping power, they've got a 4-pot stopping power, which is also quite good. Definitely gives you a much smoother braking experience, I think. Be interested to know what you guys think as well, what you've done to your cars on that perspective. Anyone else made any changes to their cars? Have they got any big jobs coming up? Is anyone else getting their car ready for the International TT show? What are you doing? What car are you bringing to the International TT show? When are you coming to the International TT show? Because we've got a few convoys going on. Fono said, "Hi Andy, what sort of price should I be looking to pay for a second-hand grille for an 8J? It is easy enough for a home enthusiast to change." Fono, I don't have an awful lot of knowledge of the Mark IIs, and that's the 8J. I would imagine it's quite easy to do. A lot of these parts just clip on and off. I would imagine at home you can do that yourself. Definitely would be something you can do. I don't know what prices would be like for them. There's a few good breakers out there. I'll definitely check. I think we've got a few breakers on the chat tonight. I know that Mark Stanley was on earlier, but he's a Mark 1 breaker. But I know that Serkan Miskin has also done he's doing some Mark 2 stuff at the moment, braking. So might be worth reaching out to him. Did you have any problems with the Brembos with ABS or ESP? No, I didn't actually. So interesting, Mike. Before that, I had a warning light come on the ABS every about 150 miles, moaning about brake pressure sensor problems. And obviously that's a big job to change the brake pressure sensors, not because of the price of the parts, but of the access to the brake pressure sensor. It's all the brake pressure sensors are on the servo at the back of the bulkhead there, the firewall. Real pain to get to. You've got to take a lot off to get to those. So I didn't really want to do it unless I had to. I changed the brakes calipers instead, and I've not had a problem since. So I think that has fixed it. So I'm hoping that's the problem's gone away. So rather than introducing problems, I'm hoping it's cured problems there, Mike. So hopefully that's all good. Richard's put, "I'm now fettling, starting a deep clean with the wheel arch liners coming out if the rain never stops." Yeah, I've noticed a good tip if you're happy to do this, guys, is there's a guy that's got a lovely Quattro Sport called Paul Knight that lives down in Hastings, and he told me about parking his car on a bit of a hill, and then what he does, he takes all the plugs out of the seals, out the bottom of the seals, and then he takes the wheel arch liners off, and then he jet washes straight through the seal, blows all the detritus out of the seals, keeps the seal completely clear. He then dries it, and then he puts a coat of wax oil through it to seal it all back up again. Then puts the plugs in, puts the wheel arch liners on, and that's a good way of making sure you're getting no rot throughout the whole seal. Seems to work for Paul. Paul does a great job in it, and he's very particular about what he does. So that's a tip I'd say if you're happy to take things apart and do some work on it. And he's put, "I'm changing the shocks and springs. Should I replace the top mounts?" The top mounts, if they don't need doing, probably not, but chances are they probably do need doing, Andy, if you're doing shocks and springs. So yeah, might as well, they exactly that. Richard's put, because they're pretty cheap. So if they need doing, definitely do them. Stuart's put, "Gotta have cam belt, water pump done, Haldex service, brake fluid change, and rear adjustable control arms fitted with 4-wheel alignment." Yeah, interesting. So the cam belt, the water pump, the Haldex service, the brake fluid change, they're all jobs I was talking about earlier on, that they are the key sort of early jobs that for a new TT owner that you must do straight away. You know, that they come with a massive risk of gambling with that timing belt change. If you don't change the cam belt, you are playing a bit of Russian roulette if you've got no history of when it was last done. Again, every 5 years or 75,000 miles, they recommend. A lot of these TTs now that are changing hands, you know, service history might have got lost, or people are leaving these cars as a garage queen and leaving it in the garage for long periods of time. So because of that, it's quite quick. You know, the cam belt frequency change can creep up on you without realizing. The silver car, the silver Roadster, I bought that in 2018. So I've owned that for 8 years this year. and I did the cam belt change on it in 2021. It had been done in 2017, but I did it again in 2021, and I've done it again at the end of 2025. So it hasn't quite hit the 5 years. It's definitely not hit 75,000 miles. I think it hasn't even done 10,000 miles in the time I've owned it, that car. So it's definitely one to get done, and it does give me a bit of peace of mind. Now, the only worry I've got about the timing belt I've done on the Roadster is I did the timing belt on the Roadster. But I did have a great mechanic guide here. Bryn was obviously here from BWSTT, talking me through it and guiding me through it. And I've still got on the wall, if you can see that, guys, on my whiteboard, I've still got the list of jobs, the steps that we've got to go through. And even someone like the Bryn that knows his stuff inside out, he's very meticulous about all the steps and ticking each step as he does it to make sure nothing gets missed. And I can't recommend that enough. It's a great tip, that, to make sure you document everything you do so you don't miss anything. Mrs. Jugs, happy birthday. Have a great day. Thanks for your advice. We're learning a lot over the last 2 years. Really looking forward to traveling with you for the International TT and meet. Thanks, Vanessa. Looking forward to having you along as well. I think you're coming for the entire week with us. I think you're traveling over on the Wednesday. So I was going to touch on that for people. So the International TT show is coming around really fast now. And we are traveling over on the Wednesday, and that is Wednesday, the 8th of April. We are traveling over. We're on the 1020 crossing from Dover, or from Folkestone, should I say. And we are, evening, Andy. Sorry, couldn't join tonight. Doing some birthday card celebrations. Enjoy your birthday, buddy. It's my birthday tomorrow. So you have a good birthday, and I'll have a good birthday tomorrow too. Enjoy yourself. But yeah, so we are traveling over at 10:20 from Folkestone on the Wednesday, and we are heading on the first day. We are heading up to Ghent for the evening. We're staying in a converted monastery, I believe it is, in that first night. And then on the Thursday, we're going to have a slow drive back to Ypres, and we're booked in at the Ariane Hotel. Now, if you've not stayed at the Ariane before, I can't recommend it enough. It's a beautiful hotel. It's the best hotel in Ypres, and that has been, not me saying that, that's a resident of Ypres, a guy called Thierry De Heck, who is also our host at Caddy Cars on the Saturday. He will also say the best hotel in Ypres, and that's where we stayed. It's actually reasonably priced. You will buy me a birthday pint at the Trumpet. Thank you, Mrs. Jugs. I look forward to having a birthday beer with you. Well, it won't be a birthday then, will it? But I'll have a beer, a lovely Belgian beer that evening when we're there. So yeah, it'd be great it's great to meet you all. Great to have you along for the trip. I think we've got quite a few people joining us for that convoy. So I know that Gina's coming. She's bringing her wife. She's coming for the whole trip as well. So she's coming over on the Wednesday. Obviously, my partner in crime, Jeff Bedford's going to be there for the whole thing as well. And I think a few other people are joining us on that Wednesday as well. So that will be a nice little journey over. We are about Ypres under an hour from Calais, just so you're aware. Obviously, we've got a bit further to drive because we're going to be going up to Ghent. But it's a nice journey, I think. Last year we went to, obviously we stayed in Ypres, but we had a day in Bruges. Bruges is lovely. Highly recommend that if you've not been there before. But we've done Bruges this year or last time, so this time we're going to Ghent and try somewhere different. It's very similar. It's got the waterways and it's got the lovely quaint sort of streets and things. So looking forward to that. And so obviously my friend Patrick that lives in Ecke. He owns 5 beautiful Audi TT Mark 1s. He's got them all for sale other than one at the moment. So some beautiful cars he's got for sale. I've got a video on that. If you want to check out my video on One Guy, 5 Cars on my channel, definitely worth a watch and look at Patrick's amazing cars. Really, really touching and moving story about one of those cars as well. Definitely worth a watch if you've not done it already. I do have a whole range of videos on my channel called TT Meets TT. So if you go to my channel and check out my playlist, maybe you've seen the how-to videos, the events videos, but maybe you've not seen the TT Meets TT range. And that's where I've met people with their own TTs and we talk about their cars and experiences. Some great stories on there, so please check that out if you've not done so already. But yeah, so talking about the convoys that are going over to Ypres, obviously we're going over on the Wednesday, but there's also a convoy going over on the Friday. So there you go, Andy's traveling over on the Friday. Nick Clark from the TT Addicts, one of my fellow admins at the TT Addicts, he's organising a convoy over on the Friday to join us. Highly recommend, if you can come over for the weekend, definitely try and come over on the Friday and get an Airbnb and stay there. So you're there early for Saturday morning. Even if you were driving back Saturday evening rather than staying for the whole weekend, I'd highly recommend getting over early or coming on the Friday. So you're ready to go on the Saturday morning for 10 o'clock when the event starts at Caddy Cars. The Friday night is a big night for me. In fact, for me, it's the favourite part of the weekend. Is we go to the Trumpet, we have a fantastic meal. The food at the Trumpet is amazing. We take over the whole restaurant. We've the last 2 years we've had the whole restaurant. I love it, and it's great to spend the evening talking to you all, walking around, finding out stories, how your journeys have been, and meeting you all, mate. Some of you meeting you for the first time. It's just amazing to meet so many wonderful TT enthusiasts. It's a bit like being at the shows in the UK, but in Belgium. So definitely looking forward to that. And once we've finished at the Trumpet, if you want to go on, we'll find somewhere, have a beer at one of the bars somewhere. Let's do that and have a big chat about all the great things that go on. Obviously, not too much because we've got obviously to drive the next morning, unless we drive our cars up early, maybe on the Friday and leave. No, I don't think we can do that. That'd be one way of doing it. It's about the town is probably about a mile and a half from Caddy Cars where we hold the event. It's out in an industrial state. We are going to do also on the Friday afternoon, we're doing a convoy around the local area being led by one of the locals. He's going to take us on a convoy around. So that's going to be amazing being part of that. I really want to film that as well, watching all these amazing TTs driving around together. I think that'd be pretty cool. So Richard, you're coming on the Friday afternoon. Brilliant. Staying at the area and meeting you. Yeah. Looking forward to seeing you, buddy. Hopefully I'll see you before that. We have to get you over for a coffee at some point so we can look at your lovely new car. And the garden's a bit too soft to park at the moment. I can't even get the breaker out the garden at the moment. It's so boggy out there. But it'd be great to have you over for a coffee maybe one morning. We'll talk about the car. We'll stay at the Ariane meeting you at the Trumpet. Yeah. Most people are staying at the Ariane and meeting us at the Trumpet. So I think that's going to be great. It's going to be so many old friends of mine at the Ariane that night. It'd be like, it's going to be brilliant fun. I can't wait for it. It's going to be great. When it works. Yeah, I did get your message, Richard. We'll definitely do it. I'm absolutely smashed out of work at the moment. It's like my days start at like about 6:30 and they just finish about 6 o'clock at night. I'm doing like 12-hour days at the moment. It's just it's doing me in. I need to retire maybe. But unfortunately I need to pay the bills. But yeah, it's there is an awful lot going on with regards to other shows this year as well. So Springfest, for those of you that have been to Springfest, I'm going to hold at least 2 Springfests this year in the garden. We're going to do an early summer one and a late summer one, so make sure everyone can meet it. Talked about it last week. We'll try and do a Mark 1 only event as well. So we'll do a separate event for that because I think a lot of the it's great to get all the TTs together, all the Audis together. But it's nice to have just like a Mark 1 day as well. So I think we'll do that. Obviously, we'll get the wife to cater it because the Springbank Kitchen are doing lots of things this year on a catering front. So it's always good to get her to cater the party as well. Don't forget, we've got the wonderful toilet facilities that I built myself in the garden as well. So we've got all of that now to cater for all of that. So it's a real catered towards car shows in the garden. I've also taken a few trees out the last few weekends in the garden. So I reckon I've made a few more parking spaces. So I think we could probably put 40 to 45 cars in the garden this year. So that'll be quite good. We've also got, on top of Springfest, we've got Quattrofenia that is happening again this year. It's always the first weekend in September. For those of you that have been before, have not been. Someone was asking me about it today, believe it or not, even though it's quite a long way away. But yeah, first weekend in September, that first Saturday in September, we did a London to Brighton. We don't start in London, obviously. We start at the Duke's Head in Crawley Down in Copthorne, and we drive to the Brighton Marina and have some dinner in the evening there. Leave our cars on the top of the car park in Brighton Marina. Take some great pictures, catch up with everyone. Just a great day, a really good social day. So if you want to come and join that again, please come along on that as well. There's a few events going on throughout the year that I will cover on the channel as well. So whether I do an events video every month, I'm not sure. It's very time consuming. So I don't really get the support and help from people sending me their event details in time. So it can be a bit of a challenge, and I do end up chasing people. So if you're an event organizer, you want me to mention your event and cover it, happy to do a video on it and cover it off. But do let me know of plenty of time in a previous month. Don't let me know on the first day of the month that it's happening in. So because it's hard to get the video out. But again, quite a few videos coming up. I am going to strip down the 1.8 turbo engine for you all as well. So as you know, the 1.8 turbo engine had a catastrophic failure before I bought the car. So it came with a failed engine. I've got the rocker cover off. I've got the lifters off, the cams off it. I've got the gaskets off it. But what I need to do, I need to remove the bolts, they're ribe bits, I think they're called, that hold the cylinder head in place. M10 ribes, I think they are, which I've never even heard of that bit before. I'm going to get one of those bits to do it, and I'm going to remove the bolts, take the head off, and we're going to look at what damage occurs when you have a cam belt failure in a car. So I know there's a lot of damage in that engine, and I want to see and show you why you must do that timing belt change. But we'll do a complete strip down of the engine, take it all apart, and I can share with you what the engine looks like as well, because I'm sure you're probably interested to know what's actually inside the beating heart of your engine and what it looks like on the inside. So be good to cover that off with people watching it and joining in. So I will do that as well. What else have I got coming up? Oh, I'm also going to do a fuel filter replacement. Well, I've got one right here. So there is my fuel filter. So that is going to be going on this car. So we make sure we've got a nice clean filter. Now, it's not really a messy job. It's the fuel filter is just underside the driver's side, almost underneath the back seat under the car. It's probably the best location to describe it. Towards the sill. So I'm going to do that fuel filter change and show you how to do it as well, because it's an easy job, and it might be quite a quick win for people that are are looking to do a car. I think my camera's steaming up. I'm just going to give that a little wipe. Is that clearer? That looks a bit clearer, doesn't it? It was starting to steam up. I don't know why, because it's blinking cold in here now. It's just suddenly got cold. But again, if you've got any questions for, don't knock that one over, Andy, because that's quite important. If you've got any questions for me on the TT or any questions for me on the channel, then please send it over. I am starting to do not only TT content, but as mentioned over on my other channel, I've got Andycharger _electric. So please do check out that channel and give that a subscribe if you can. It all helps me. I am starting to do a bit more content over on there as well, talking about electric vehicles and the challenges of electric vehicles, because they are quite topical. They are things, the number of TT owners is definitely going down. So while my content is still being watched quite well, I don't think there's as many people watching TT content in general anymore as there once was. Although it does seem to be still growing nicely. The channel does still grow nicely, but I definitely need to make sure that I am covering as much content as possible for people and topics that interest you. So not only how-tos on how to fix the car, but things on the channel that people find interesting. So which is why I'm talking about why now is a good time to buy, why the 3.2 V6 is going up in price right now, because it is going up in price. It's very strong in the market right now and strengthening. It's only going to strengthen more. It's not going to come back down. The video on the maintenance jobs, the top 5 maintenance jobs you need to do on the Audi TT right now as a new owner. So that's definitely something I want to cover off and talk about. Obviously, you've probably seen my video on the history of the Audi TT Mark 1, the design history of this car. If you've not checked out that video, definitely go and check out that one, because it talks all about the history behind this car, where it came from. And we know about colours of cars, don't we? We know that the silver car they do light metallic silver, but they also do a silver called Avis silver. And you may or may not know, but Audi made a car called the Audi Avis. And really, if you trace the history back through the lineage of the Audi TT Mark 1 and you take it back, Audi at the start of the 90s, they decided to come up with a two-seat roadster mid-engine concept car sort of thing, to see if there was a market for sort of like a sports car, like a compact sports car. And they came up with the Audi Avis, they called it. Now, if you've not checked it out, just Google an Audi Avis right now and look at that car. Look at the design of it and the shape of it, and then go and look at an Audi R8. And I think they look identical. That you can definitely see the heritage is there. But of course, the Audi showed the Audi Avis to the motoring world, and they realised that there was obviously a bit of a market out there for a car that was basically a small sports hatch type, compact roadster type car, I guess. And they decided from that they'd go away and they'd work on a concept, which they did. And of course, that concept made its appearance at the 1995 Frankfurt Motor Show, of which the motoring press loved it straight away. And the motoring press then made such a big hoo-ha about it. Audi thought, definitely got worth going away, refining this design, and let's take it to market. And of course, in 1998 that we had the Audi TT release. The video will cover all of that off, guys. So if you want to go and check out the history of the car, don't want to ruin it all for you now, but it's definitely worth going off and watching that video because I'll really dive into the detail of where the car came from. So definitely check out my channel for all the history videos, all the how-tos, all the events videos, all the previous events we've done and the shows we've done over the years. There's a lot of content there for you to watch and keep up to speed with. But what was I going to talk about next on? Can't remember. I put my sheet somewhere. Don't know where it's gone. It's getting a bit chilly, so I might wrap up in about 15 minutes tonight. I might do an hour and a half tonight, so I can get out of the cold. I should have worn my gilet, but I've left it indoors. But Richard Stevens, how you doing, buddy? Hi, Andy. Have you a site to obtain your merchandise? No, I don't have a site for my merchandise, Richard. But if you want any merchandise, if you want any hoodies, t-shirts, caps, whatever you want, I've got a full range of stuff I do. I need to get a page out there. I might do myself maybe a Facebook page. You can do a page, can't you, for sort of brands and things. So maybe I'll do an Andycharger page rather than just me. I know Dom does one for the Parrot Bros, doesn't he? But yeah, so if you're interested in a t-shirt or a hoodie, then please drop me an email at Andy_Charger@hotmail.com. So that's Andy_Charger@hotmail.com. Drop me an email. You can find my contact details, obviously, on the main channel page as well. And you can pick yourself up a hoodie or a t-shirt or whatever. Tell me what you want and I can tell you how much it is. Again, I don't really make any money on this, to be perfectly honest. I buy it all through a reseller and then I'll charge you and then that covers the money of it sending out to someone. So yeah, I'm happy to share that all off with you. What are my thoughts on the Concept C? Yeah, do you know what? I think it looks a little bit like a Bugatti, but I don't mind it. I think it's modern motoring has changed. I don't think that the car will look like the Concept C that gets released. I think it is it is going to be some form of TT rebirth. I think the Concept C. It's got a lot of electronic tech in it, isn't it? That's the way the market seems to be going. I think Audi have realised that. I mean, I think they've, things like the e-tron, they've dipped their toes in the water. Although the e-tron is very expensive for what it is, to be perfectly honest. But yeah, I think the Concept C, it's got some legs to run, I think. And unfortunately, I know people love the noise of cars. That's the big thing that drives people. And I think that the Concept C is either going to have to generate some sort of noise to make people want it, because power alone doesn't sell cars, I don't think, because my Tesla is the quickest thing I've ever driven by a long mark. It's so fast off the mark. Unlimited power is probably the way to describe it, I think. But a lot of people don't like them. So I always think if people are driven by cars because they want power and speed, then go and buy a Tesla, because that would fill all your fantasies. But it's not, it's the noise, isn't it? We know from driving a 3.2, the sound it gives you, that that exhaust note where you put your foot down and it drops down the gears and it really revs up. That's, can't beat that. It does that. It does sort of does fill you full of a bit of fun. I'm not, the sound alone, it's not for me, but it does make a difference. I think it's a nicer note than the 225. Some people prefer the 225 exhaust note. They prefer the turbo sound. I prefer the exhaust note of the 3.2, really. But interested to know in the chat, what do people prefer? What are people driving? If you've got, so someone comes along and they say, welcome to my garage, welcome to Andy's garage. I've got here a Papaya 3.2 V6, and I've got here a Papaya 225 1.8 turbo car. Both identical to look at. We'll even put the body kit of the 3.2 on the 225. What car are you going to take? Are you going to take the 3.2 V6 engine car, or the 225 engine car? What are you going to take? Let me know in the chat. Be interested to know what you think. I'm going to have a quick drink. Cheers. Anyone going to comment? Although it probably takes a few. There you go. 225. Interesting. Okay, there you go. Nemesis says 225. So we've got 1 vote for the 225. Stuart saying that's 2 votes for 225. Wow. Interesting. That's not the way I thought this vote would go. But okay, we're 2-0. 2-0 to the 225. Saw Richard say he's going to put his Quattro Sport on the table. 3.2. 2-1 now. We're 2-1. Got an equaliser coming from someone maybe. Be interesting what people. I should have put a little poll up, shouldn't I? To say, you know, what people prefer to drive, what people own, and what they prefer. I'm lucky enough. Oh, 3-1 to the 225s now. I'm lucky enough that obviously I own both a 225 and a 3.2. The only difference is my 225 is a Roadster, and I love the 3.2, but I own a 225. Okay. 225, because anything about the 3.2 sound, yeah. The driving experience of my 3.2 is actually nicer than my Roadster, and that is because I think it's the coupe makes a difference, not the engine for me, because I think my Roadster is quite wallowy, and I think that's just because of the chassis of the Roadster. It is a bit wallowy of a car. The 3.2 is very nose heavy. It's very heavy at the front, but it feels much more rigid and solid, isn't it, as a driving experience over the 225 Roadster. Be interesting to have a 225 coupe, which I did have in the garden, obviously, until I broke it for parts and the engine was dead on it. I would always have been interested to get that going again and see what that would have been like, but it's what it is, isn't it? The only thing about the 3.2 is the sound. Yeah, I totally get that if people think that. The noise from my Mark II V6 Roadster was by far the best noise. Was your white Roadster was that a V6? Was it? Didn't realise that when it ran, when it didn't have a hole in the boot. Richard, maybe we say, I'm going to sneeze. Listen, there we go. I knew it was coming. I could see it was coming. Yeah, didn't realise that was a Roadster, Richard. I didn't realise it was a V6. I thought it was a 2-litre one, but shows how little I know. I've still got the subframes in the garage here to be powder coated, and they will be going off to be powder coated very soon. I also need to get that hanger off the car, the 225. This is a question I should have asked this when Mark was on earlier. I don't know if Mark's still on, I bet he's not. On the back of the TT on the Quattro, you've got the diff, and you've got the diff hanger that connects to the subframe. Do we know if the diff hanger is the same on the 3.2 as it is on the 225? Let me know in the chat if you know it is. Because what I want to do is I want to take the diff hanger off the car I've got in the garden and have that powder coated along with the subframes. Do you know what? The subframes on that 225 in the garden are lovely. They're great condition. So I am thinking about maybe taking them off the car and then maybe having the car up on axle stands, and somehow, I don't know, it's the same diff. So yeah, okay, great. Thanks, Rich. I thought it was. Just wanted to be sure. But I need to think of a way of getting the subframes off it and having it on something I can still move the car around, maybe like some sort of dolly, I guess, to move it around on. Because what I want to do is, once I've got the subframes off, there's very little I want to keep on the car now. I've got the boot I've got in the garage here, the bonnet I've got on the table outside. Everything off it I want to keep. And then I want to send it off to the scrap man because, you know, although another quick question for you, actually, guys, as you're in the chat, the catalytic converter on an exhaust system on a 225, you've got the downpipe that goes off to the exhaust, and then you've got the exhaust, and there's like the mufflers through the exhaust as well. Where on that system is the catalytic converter? Because I thought it was that little box underneath the car. But I thought maybe it's actually in the downpipe. I've seen some people have said. So can you tell me where on the exhaust system the catalytic converter is? What we've got here, a big old TTs. Hey, Andy, my coolant level warning light is coming on, but I'm not losing any coolant. And it doesn't leak. It doesn't overheat. It just drops when I drive. Do I just replace the coolant? Is it sucking the coolant out of the tank? Is it when it's moving along? That's a bit. I haven't got any airlocks in the tank or anything, have you? Only problem is you have to remove the drive shafts and control arms, which will probably make it unmovable with the subframe off. Yeah, downpipe is dual pipes into dual cat, then single into the rest of the exhaust. Okay, so the downpipe is dual pipe into a dual cat. So where that, because I think that downpipe comes down and it goes around onto like what you call that, with the mating surface where they come together, and then it goes on. So I thought the cat was somewhere under the car. I don't know, because I'm thinking that's something else I can take off the car and sell separately, because I think there's money for cats, isn't there? Okay, Phil, good to see you, buddy. Thanks for being on. Thanks for supporting the channel as always and being a member. Love that. And I'll catch up with you soon, buddy. Thanks for being on. Yeah, so yeah, guys, let me know about that exhaust, because it's always interesting to know where that will sit in the exhaust system, that cap, because I think I'll take it off, make some more money out of it, because that car, you know, I don't know if people know the story. I know there's a lot of people on tonight. Cats are the first part under the car. Okay, I'll have a look at that. Thank you, Nemesis. The 225 I got in the garden, it cost me £300 because it was a non-runner, and I had it cost me £100 to have it delivered to my house by my friend, drove it over for me on the back of his truck. So that I was into the car for £400, and I've probably sold parts of it in the region of about £1,500 of parts now. So it's paid for itself 3 or 4 times over, but there's still money to make out of it. You know, there's still parts I can take off and sell. So I've got the black wing mirrors, even taking the wing mirror off. Do you know how to take a wing mirror off the car? Well, I'm going to take those off and show people how to do that. Hi, Nick Harris. How you doing, buddy? Hello, bro. Hope you're good. I was told the coolant tank connectors may be old and causing the issue. If I do need to replace the tank, do I need to drain all the coolant from the car, or can I just replace the coolant tank? Yeah, you can just replace the coolant tank. You can unbolt the coolant tank and put it up, take the pipes off it as well, and get the tank out of the way, so you've got the pipes in there, and just fill up the coolant tank, get a new coolant tank in. Makes a big difference to how it looks. I wouldn't thought the coolant tank would be causing that problem, though, to be honest. That doesn't sound like it's the tank doing that. I'd say it's something further on. Andy, hi. What would you be? Sorry, I need to read that again. I'm going to read Richard's comment as well. Absolutely on the cat, Andy. Just saw it off with 3 inches of pipe each side, and it's £200 a day. Interesting. That's a good one, Rich. I'll do that, buddy. Thanks for that. James Green said, Andy, hi. What would be your go-to waterproofing brand for the convertible roof? Try most brands, but not impressed, to be fair. I've actually got a kit right here. This is what I've used. This is my one for my Roadster. So I've got a video on waterproofing your top again. So if you check on my channel, I'm using these products. By the way, I'm not sponsored by Autoglim or because I had to pay for these. So these are nothing to do. So in my video, you see me using these. I'm getting nothing for it. So you use this first. This is the soft. Well, first thing you do is you wash the hood and give it a good scrub. Then spray it with this and then give it another good clean. It gets all the algae and all the horrible stuff off it. And then you use this one, which is probably about half the bottle left, the soft top protector. So with half the bottle left, I've done it once. So, you know, a bottle of this will do 2 applications and it will last all season. Does make a difference. This brings up nice and clean. This gives it good protection, keeps it watertight. So definitely, they are the 2 products I go for. You buy them in a kit together. Autoglim, definitely give it a try. Hopefully that helps you out, buddy. And that might be my tip. You might be different. You might think they don't work very well, but it worked quite well for me. So I was quite chuffed with that, using that. Definitely worth checking them out. There's a few different ones around, but definitely worth doing that one, I think, too, if you want to try one. But yeah, any other questions, guys, in the chat, let me know. But I'm going to do that with the cats then, Rich. You've inspired me. The trouble is, where the car is in the garden, I can't really jack it up because it's sort of half on the hard standing and half on the lawn. And because the lawn's so soft, we can't get it on. So I need to get it onto the hard standing, get it jacked up, get that sawn off then, and then get that sold. I need to find someone that will buy the cats, I guess, then from that point onwards. But you're getting a couple £100 out of the car. That will really be helpful to me. I'll definitely do that. What I am going to do is, while I've done a video on doing an oil change on the TT and doing a filter change and doing other bits. What I've not done is I've not done a service for beginners. Let's say a service guide, which I'm going to cover changing the plugs, changing all the filters, changing all the fluids. I'm going to do the whole thing. It may be in one video to help people out. So if you're doing a minor service at home, what do you do? Because if you go to the garage and you're paying 120, 150 quid for a service, with the parts, you can probably do it yourself at home for about 40 or 50 quid. Maybe not, maybe a bit more than that, because obviously the oil nowadays is going to cost you about that. Do I need to have anything in the car or on the car to drive in Europe? Yes, you need a UK badge on the back of the car, Andy. It's got to be UK rather than GB as well. You can get a little magnetic one, which is what I put on the back of my TT, so it doesn't stick to anything or damage it. But highly recommend you get a badge on the back of your TT for a UK sticker. You need a warning triangle if your car may have one. So if you open the TT up, at the back of the boot, there's like 2 straps that you can put a warning triangle in the back. So you need that. You need a first aid kit in the car. I don't think you need a fire extinguisher, but I always have one anyway. You need some breathalyzers, I think, in the car. Although I don't even know if you need those anymore, but that was the requirement at one point, having breathalyzers in the car. All your travel documents, proof of your insurance, that sort of thing. Although I'm telling you to do this, I don't do it myself, but that's what you need to have in the car. Definitely worth doing a quick Google on it to make sure I'm saying all the right things. The laws change all the time, what you're doing, and different countries in Europe require different things as well. So it's definitely worth checking. How much is it going to cost to get a subframe powder coated? I pay £100 a subframe for mine to have it done. Well, to be fair, I paid £100 to have 2 items done last time. But yeah, about £100 to have a subframe powder coated, stripped and coated. I've got one. I don't know if you've seen it before, Stuart. I'm going to grab my subframe off the wall to show you the difference of a powder coated one and a non-powder coated one. So I'll keep talking to you because I haven't got to walk too far away to talk about this. I'll come over here. I'll grab this. Here we go. What the difference this makes. Here we go. So you're probably wondering, you can hear me, but you can't see me. So there is a powder coated subframe for a 3.2 V6. So the good thing is that would bolt straight onto the car behind me. Now, it's in great condition, and it does also mean the one that's on the car, when I take it off, I can have the same done to that. So I've always got one in stock as such. They are getting more rare. They don't make them anymore. So what you need to do is you need to get a good condition second-hand one from a breaker and then have it powder coated. Now this one is in really good condition. So I think when I put this on the car, that'll be in a really good place. To say it's in really good condition. There's no rust on it. It just hangs on my wall, waiting to go on the car when it is needed. Because again, you can't buy them again. So if the subframe's gone, you're in trouble. You can't really do anything with it. But the front subframe does. They get a hole with it, and that's your lot. Well, if I install sports cat downpipe, they need to put O2 spacers to avoid a check engine light. And what I need to get a tune for it immediately after. Not sure about that. Oh yeah, bulb kit. Yeah, you do need that. Absolutely. I'm just looking through that. I'm not sure about the sports cat. That's not my forte really, tuning cars, I'm afraid. So if someone might know in the chat. Still breathalyzers in France. Yeah, I wasn't sure about that. And obviously we are driving through France to get there, so we do need to make sure we're obeying the country regulations we drive through. And you have to convert your headlights over to left-hand beam with stickers. Don't think I did that. That looks lovely. Yeah, it's in really good condition, Steve. Really good condition. The Lee South Coast, East Sussex. X1898, hi mate, needs some advice. TT getting to temps and fans are not kicking in. Replace fan switch is still the same. I've removed, don't have aircon, I've removed it, save, bypass the fan switch and fans work. Okay, have you checked the 3 little green fuses on the top of the battery tray on that? Just going through that, Lee, because there's 3 little green fuses on the top that control that, I think. I'm looking at the factor under the battery. It's been told more than likely is. Yeah, there's 3 green fuses on that little tray. Bling, bling. Yeah. Hi, May. Hi, Andy. Do you have a site for your merchandise? Thanks. Yeah, Richard, I think you've already asked that, have you not? Yeah, I haven't got a site for it, but if you want any T-shirts, hoodies, merch, please get in touch with me at the channel, Andy_charger@hotmail.com. I'll see if I can sort out whatever you need. The hoodies are great. So these are great hoodies we've got on right now. I've got one of my Andycharger T-shirts underneath as well. All colours, all designs, whatever you need. And obviously it's got the big logo on the front, big logo on the back, and the little logo on the front. So definitely worth having. I'll show you what the back looks like while we're doing it. So see, they've got the logo on the back, and you've got the little logo on the front. So the hoodies are really good, really comfy, really good quality as well. Yeah, check the fuses and change them. Still nothing. Okay. Been changed them all, had been all good. Okay. I'm not sure then, Lee. Thoughts on a stage 1 remap? Sports car for 225 or V6? Or sports car, it might be. Thoughts on a remap? For me, Andy, you know, what do you want from the remap? Are you looking for more power? Are you looking for better fuel economy? What you're looking? I'd say the thing with remapping cars, every guy and his dog has like a remap now for the car, and you put that remap on a car and it can do more harm than good, and then you've got to reset it back to what it was and get the original map back on it. It's just a risk of introducing new problems to the car. It's a bit like people that want more power from the car, and if you want more power from the car, that's great, but what you've also got to remember is for every bit of extra power that you're putting through either a remap or an upgrade to the engine bay, whether it be induction kit, oversized tip, front mount intercooler, you're putting more load through that engine. So you're stressing the engine more. You're also putting more load through the gearbox, the clutch, the brakes, all those things, particularly clutch and gearbox, you know, they're expensive jobs if they go wrong on your TT. So if you want to replace the clutch on your TT because you've suddenly put a load more power through the engine, good luck, because the clutch is an expensive job. People tend to go improve performance, but they don't think about the stopping power, the load through the gearbox, the load through the clutch, all things that people forget about, you know, and then it starts causing problems, and then they wonder why their cars are causing them problems. If you're prepared to factor all that in, definitely. More for fuel economy than power. I say there's a lot of things you can do for fuel economy rather than the money you spend on a map. The money you might spend on a map, you could probably pay the difference in fuel for about the next 5 years. You know, it's literally, you know, it's not going to make that much difference in economy, I wouldn't have thought, for the investment you're putting through it. You'd be better off to stick a bottle of Red X through your engine and clean it up, to be honest, and make sure you run it at temperature and make sure you get the most out of your car and just good maintenance on the car, to be honest, over a map. Might be wrong, but that's just my thoughts. I'm not a massive fan of mapping cars for fuel economy, or anything really. But yeah, I'm not a massive modder really, as you know from a car. Most of my car, I say my car's at OEM. Obviously, I've got Brembo brakes in it now, so it's not really OEM, is it? And I've got my double-din stereo, as it's pointed out and noticed on my channel yesterday by people. But it is mainly OEM, and the things that are on the car before I got it, you know, I haven't put them back. I've got the parts to put back if I ever sell it. But yeah, it's what it is, isn't it? But my Silver Roadster is completely 100% OEM, so yeah. But that's also a great car. You know, the Roadster's actually only on 85,000 miles. Obviously, I'll put a couple of thousand more on that this year when we take it to France on our road trip. But, you know, we're not going to not be doing too much on that. So I showed you that subframe, the one I have had powder coated. On the floor right here next to me, I've got a subframe that's yet to be powder coated. And this is what they look like before you powder coat them. I don't know if you can see how crusty this one is. You see how crusty and horrible this is. So this is going off to be powder coated. I'm hoping it's going to look amazing. The place I got it from had decided to paint it with hammerite. and that was before Christmas, right? And that hammerite is still not dry. So that's not want to stick it on my car, do I? I have all three of my vehicles hydrocarbon cleaned by Sheldon. Yeah, is that where you put the walnuts into the That's not where you put the walnuts through the inlet manifold, is it? People do that, don't they? To get all the carbon deposits off it. Maybe, I don't know. That might be. Is that where people do it? I'm sure they use walnuts for it. Might be wrong. I might have made that up. I'm pretty sure that's what people do to clean up they pump it all through and polish it all off. I mean, looking at the engine I've got in front of me, the 1.8 turbo engine that's in there. Oh no, that's vapor blast. Oh, okay. And I can see the carbon deposits. Maybe we'll have a look at that. I wasn't going to look too much at the engine tonight, but I think we've probably talked about the 3.2. We've talked about videos that come up. Maybe we'll have a look at the engine now. So if I move one of the boxes round, the soft boxes, I'll put that over there like that. And I'll move the camera back, guys. Bear with me a moment while we move back into position. Right. And then what we've got right here, is that softbox on enough for you guys? Does that give you enough of a view onto the engine? Hopefully it does. I'll come around this side. So what we've got here is this is a 225. This is the 1.8 225 BAM engine we've got right here. And I'm going to remove, so here's the cam belt. So I think we've talked about it before. So there's the cam belt. So this was the cam belt. This is the reason it failed, okay? I'm going to show you this. Showed it a few times. So there's the cam belt. There's the teeth on the cam belt, okay? And there's all the teeth missing off this cam belt. It stripped all those teeth off that entire section of the cam belt. So that's why it failed. Before I owned the car, I might add. And this is the cam belt off my Roadster. Now, the feel difference between those two is unbelievable. This is so much more robust and rigid. And that has only been done about 5,000 miles, that belt. This one is very tired and old and obviously had failed. Now, people say, oh, that belt looks really tired. You can see this sort of start seeing the teeth through the belt. Well, you can see the teeth almost on the wrong side of the belt here, the markings for the belt. But that doesn't mean the belt's going to fail. And the both belts to look at, you can see they are very similar. The only difference being, I guess, is on the belt that has failed, it feels a bit more shiny, a bit smoother. That might be the only difference you can do. But unless you had two belts side by side, you wouldn't really be able to tell the difference. So I don't think you'd really be able to tell by looking at the belt. But if I bring you in a bit closer, and then what we'll do is we'll turn the look right down on this. Right, so then we're going to have a look. So here is our engine. This is our 225 engine, guys, right? And what we have, the camshafts would normally be running across here and here. I've taken them off, and what you can see now, you can see the hydraulic lifters. Now these are the top. So obviously it's a 20V engine, so it's got 20 of these, 3 on the inlet side for each cylinder, and 2 on the outlet. The inlet ones are much smaller. So I'm going to lift one off. So there's a hydraulic lifter. There you go. So that's on the top of your valve. Okay, you can see there's a bit of carbon buildup, not too much. But what you can really see on the back of this engine, where the exhaust valves are, the exhaust ports here, there's an awful lot of carbon buildup here on the engine block. So, of course, if that's building up here, I'm sure it's also building up in the cylinders as well, which is causing it's not going to be as great for combustion. So they're the bits that you start to use to vapor blast and get all that out and make sure your cylinders are all polished and ported and looking amazing. So all this like build up of carbon you can see here would be the stuff you want to lose. What's that? Oh yeah, Andy, do you need twin intercoolers for the BAM? I got some. You're welcome to have them. That's very kind. If you've, I've got twin intercoolers on mine. Do you mean the side intercoolers? I've got those on my BAM. What was that? I just missed that there, Stuart. They pump hydrogen through the engine. I've had 3 cars done. They all were very quiet afterwards. Oh, that's cool. Just seeing if there's any other comments I've missed. So if there's anything else you want to look at on this engine, guys, if you want to dive in a bit closer, obviously you've got this is the another one of the what's the word, gaskets that sit over the top of the where the coil packs go through. So the coil packs obviously go onto the plugs. So the plugs are down there. I don't know if we can see them down there, but the coil packs would go onto there through the top of the rocker cover, which is down here. So it also has these parts are basically securing the camshafts in position as well. So these are all positioned across the engine. There's a full set of those I've kept to one side, but that's what your engine looks like. Now to get this cylinder head, you'll notice that the turbo's off this car. The turbo's normally here. The exhaust manifold is still on the car. We'll take that off as well. But to get to the valves and to get to the piston heads, we need to take the head off, right? So there are these M10 ride bits all down here. There's 10 of these, I believe, on the cylinder head that we need to take off. We need to loosen them off, remove the cylinder head, and then we can see what's going on with the piston. So yeah, that's the two side ones. I've got spaghetti. I've got some of those already. Thanks. Very kind of you to offer. But I've got a spare set here as well, so I probably don't need those. But they're very kind of you to offer anyway. But yeah, so I am gonna. So all these hydraulic lifters, they do just like lift out like that, and then you can see the top of the, I guess the tappets or the valve stems they be. The top there, I can just see. You can see all of those that are just there waiting to be accessed. So I think we'll take these 10 bolts out. I'm going to order a M10 ride bit. Maybe after I finish on this live tonight, I'm going to go and order one so I can get this head off and we can strip it down and have a look, because the engine's never going to be used again. I'm using it more of like a teaching aid. I do want to strip it down. I want to polish it all up and then put it back together and make it into a bit of like a coffee table or an ornament, really, and make use of it. Andy, I'm going to go get my sheep cutting on. Happy birthday for tomorrow, mate. Appreciate that, Stephen. Thanks for the happy birthday. Yeah, so guys, those of you who are on, it's my birthday tomorrow. Don't order one, mate. I've got ride bits. I can bring one over. Oh, brilliant. Cheers, mate. If you can bring me one over, that would be even better, because then I can we can strip off this head and have a look at it. Maybe while you're here, we could take it apart, make a bit of a YouTube live doing it. But yeah, I'd never heard of that. So I was doing a TikTok live, because I'm on TikTok as well, guys. And I was doing a TikTok live and Matt Hillard was on of TT Spares. And we were talking about this bit to get this out. And I thought maybe it was a spline bit. And he went, no, it's a ride bit. I've never heard of one before. And then, so I know now, that's why I know what the part is, because Matt told me what it was. But yeah, there's still work to do. There's still bits to take off this. Obviously, it's on my engine stand at the moment, which I bought for £25 from a guy in Bromley. And but of course, once I've got the block off and I've got it all stripped down, I probably won't need the engine stand, so I might have that for sale shortly as well. But that's our block anyway. So I'm going to move you back to where it was now. Give you another quick look at the car. Give you a different look, maybe. Give you a different look of the car, different angle of the 3.2 V6. Well, I haven't got a block. I haven't got my light on now, have I? So I need to bring that light over. There we go. So there's the 3.2. So you've also noticed here, this is the under tray off the 225 Roadster as well, hanging up. Still got to put that back on the car, and I will get that back on at some point. No, they're hollow bits. Okay, I'm looking forward to seeing that, Richard, and getting that, because I mean, thing is, the if you can bring it over and I can use it, you can just take it back with you, because all I've got to do is loosen them off, and once they're loose, I can just have them sitting roughly in the head for filming, can't I? I can just knock them out by something else. Bath time, Andy. Thanks for the info. Thanks, Stuart. Thanks for jumping on tonight, buddy. Always great. Always a pleasure. We've been live for 109 minutes now, so I think I might get to 120 minutes and then knock it off, because I'm getting tired and getting cold and getting weary, and now it's getting old. Turning 52 tomorrow for my birthday is why I need to get some beauty sleep, I suppose. These scars aren't going to heal themselves, are they, without that? So, but yeah, hey ho. So if you've got any other questions for me, guys, get them in quick because we've got 10 minutes. Again, if you want any sort of merch for the channel, please drop me a message at Andy_Charger@hotmail.com and I'll see if I can answer your queries, get you some merch sorted out for those that want it. People have asked me about mugs. So I haven't got any mugs left. So I think Andy asked me about that. Oh, Daniel P, thank you very much for the €2. Appreciate that. Daniel Power, that's most appreciated. Thank you for the €2. If you're enjoying what you're watching, enjoying what I'm talking about, and you want to support the channel, maybe buy me a coffee for my birthday, then feel free to drop that finger on the little dollar sign in the bottom corner there and make a donation and support the channel. All donations are most greatly received, and it means I can buy a coffee for myself and keep myself warm, or another can of Coke. But yeah, so if you've got any other questions for me, let me know and I'll see if I can answer them. Lot going on at the moment for me. I say I'm going to do a full service on the Fiestas as well, which I've got coming up. Both the Fiestas need a service. I'm going to do that as well. I guess that's not TT content. You're all here for TT content, but there's still loads of jobs on the Fiesta, on the TTs to do as well. So the video I've got in progress at the moment is all about the top 5 must-do jobs, maintenance jobs to do as a new owner of a TT, or not, maybe not a new owner, but a TT owner that maybe has no history of the maintenance that's been done on the car, things they must do. So if you've got any ideas of what things that I've not covered off tonight that we've spoken about, then please do think about dropping me a message telling me that what you think are the important jobs to do on a TT when you first get one, and cover them off, because there are lots of things to do, as we know, keeping these wonderful cars on the road. So the wheel arches, the wheels are off this car now, but I'm about to take the wheel arch liners out so that I can then get this front bumper off. We can get that alternator off and do a video on that. So that'll be a video coming about that. I'm doing a video as well about testing the starter motor on these great cars as well. I'm going to do a video on doing an alternator refurbishment. I've got a video coming on a brake refurbishment as well. So stripping down a caliper and rebuilding it and rebuilding the whole parts on it. So I'm going to have the brakes powder coated. Still in 2 minds whether I should take the Brembos off, put the original calipers back on and sell the Brembos, because the Brembos are worth £500 or £600, you know, to buy second hand, because they're off a sale at Leanne Cooper R. So maybe I would do that, because that'll get some money back. I bought those brakes off Mark Stanley, a great breaker in the UK. Paid £600 for those calipers, probably about 18 months ago, and now they're on the car. I think they are great. The stopping performance is good, but do I want to put the car back to OEM and put them back to as they were? Maybe. I'll think about it. I'll think about what I'm going to do. Depends if I rebuild them. Have you ever changed the crankshaft position sensor? Mike, yes, I have. I've got a video on both these cars. I've got a video on the 225, so the 1.8T crankshaft position sensor, and also the 3.2 V6. It is a bit of a pain to do, and I've got one right here. Here is your crankshaft position sensor, Mike. This is one, okay? And it's held into the block with a single bolt just there. So this bit goes inside your block and then it's bolted through. Now you'll probably notice what it has. Can you see that little green O-ring around it? Little green O-ring. And that's sort of like a rubber ring, and it keeps it really tight in the hole, right? And of course you undo the bolt and then this spins in the hole like that. And you can't really get any purchase to prise it out because there's no movement. So best thing I can recommend you do, as you can see, you haven't got an awful lot to work with there, but if you can get a screwdriver, a very thin screwdriver, or like a pry tool up one side and round this, and try and lever it from both sides and try and force it out. You haven't got a lot of room to work with, but it is a bit of a fiddle to get out. Getting it back in is more of a trick, because I'd recommend what you do to get it back in is lubricate it up really well with fairy liquid around the outside, just round there, and slip it in, and then get something and knock it in, because it's so hard, even with the bolt, to put it into position. You need to lubricate it well to get it into the hole. Definitely worth doing though. And both of these cars, both the 225 and the 3.2, both had problems with this. This is what was causing me to break down at the Simply Audi show. I broke down at Simply Audi, and I also broke down on the way home from Simply Audi. And I tried all things. I changed the fuel pump. I tried all sorts of things. It turned out to be this little bad boy was causing all the problems. On the 225, it manifested with some different problems. It would stall and then not restart. It just stalled for no reason. On the 3.2, it would kangaroo and start to make out it was failing, but only when it got hot. The roadster just had this random, it just cut out on me. So definitely different behavior, but also very similar, I suppose, of both being pains to performance wise. So that is a crankshaft position sensor. So Mikey, if you want to check out my video on it, get on my channel and search out crankshaft position sensor, and that'll tell you how to do it. Full of useful information, hopefully, the channel. Hopefully you can find things that will sort you out. So another 5 minutes and I'm going to drop off. But again, if you're enjoying what you're watching, if you're not a member of the channel already and you want to subscribe to the channel or become a member of the channel and support me, you can join the channel with the little link below. There's a little join button down there. You can join. Again, if you want to support the channel by sending me a donation for a coffee, you're enjoying what you're watching, you enjoy my Monday nights, and feel free to send me a donation for a coffee. Really appreciate that if you can. I've got a load of stuff at the moment. Talked about them last week. You know these little battery packs I've got. So these are like jump packs. This is one with a great light. I've got the new Topdon JS 3000. That's £180. That one. It's a great gadget though. And I've also got the AC mount one that's got the pneumatics in it. So this one. So you can use this one. Same thing for inflating tyres. This starts your car and inflates tyres. That's the third one. I've got my original Topdon jump pack, the JS 1200. That was my first one I had. That's got me out of trouble so many times. But do you know what? I get sent these, and some of them are great, and I keep them in the car. And ones that aren't great, I would tell you if they're not great. All four of those jump packs are all good, right? So the two Topdon ones, the Auxito one's good, and the AC mount one. But what I might do is I'm going to try and see if I can get in touch. I've done a few videos on these jump packs now, but I might get in touch with Topdon and see if they'll send me a prize giveaway one. And then what I'll do a review of all of them and then give away one as a channel prize maybe, because they're always useful to have. If you haven't got a jump pack for your car, particularly if you've got an old car to get you out of trouble, I can't recommend them enough. Is a brake upgrade worthwhile for a 225? Absolutely. So this upgrade I've done on this Andy, by putting Brembos on it, you could technically say I've taken a backward step with it because I've gone from 334 disc size to 323. Now I think the discs on the 225 are 312, so they're smaller again. So going from a 312 to a 323 with 4-pot calipers rather than single pot caliper, because the 225 is a single pot caliper. Massive stopping difference there. So I'd highly recommend doing that, and it looks cool on the car as well with the red Brembos. Definitely worth doing. I think the 323 brake caliper, brake discs and Brembo calipers versus the 334s that come on the standard with the twin pots. You might say it's a bit of a 6 of one, half dozen of the other, maybe. I think the braking performance is smoother with the Brembos, if I'm perfectly honest, than the original calipers. And again, it did solve my problem with the brake pressure sensor issue. So, I think it's doing a good job for me. So yeah, highly recommend it. But yeah, I think what I've got another a minute and a half, and then I'm probably going to wrap up for tonight, guys, because I noticed on those comments that people have said about on the donations, there's a little thumb mark on there, isn't there, that people can give it a little thumbs up. So thank you very much, guys, for those of you that sent stuff tonight. And Mr. GMT has sent me a donation for my birthday. Thank you very much, buddy. And I will I've just given you a thumbs up back on that. So thank you very much for your donations tonight. All your birthday wishes you've sent me as well. I'm sure I'll have a great birthday tomorrow. I'm sure I'll speak to a few of you, no doubt, during the day. But yeah, really appreciate all the love and support you guys give the channel. Makes it worthwhile doing what I do. I think I'm at 11,260 something subscribers today. So it's great. It really goes from strength to strength. I pick up about 250 subscribers a month. And just to say, on my subscribers, it's all through hard work and doing, I guess, the right content for people to watch, keeping people interested. There are other people that cheat their way to the top of notes and they buy subscribers, putting that out there. And but I do it all the right way. I'm doing it through hard work, determination, and making sure the people that are watching my channel are watching it for the right reason. So to each and every one of you 11,260 something people, thank you very much for watching over the years. Thanks for continuing to watch me and support me. You make it all worthwhile. Thank you so much. I'm going to drop off now, and I'm going to have might go and enjoy the rest of my can of Coke and get an early night in bed. So thank you very much. I'll join me back on the channel next week, same time, 7:30 next Monday night, and I'll catch up with you all then. Thanks all. Have a great week, and yeah,